Ever considered joining a lease purchase program? I've often seen that get a new truck with $0 down advertisement for Ego Holding. And I've been curious, could that really be true? Could it work? So I decided to check it out. In this video, I'll tell you what I learned so you can decide if possibly Ego Holdings program or a lease purchase program in general is the right thing for you. Hi everybody, my name is EJ Anderson, Congressional Auditor turned long haul truck blogger, also known as the happiest, kindest trucker on the road. Here at White Glove Trucking, I use my channel to help you use trucking as a vehicle to live your best life. Now, I've always been curious about that Ego Holding zero down offer. So I decided to check them out just to see if I can make more than what I'm making now. So I called a recruiter to get some information on the program. First off, it's a lease purchase program. You make the payment for 5 years and the truck is yours. You get 75% of gross revenue. He said the most popular option is the zero down option, but there's some other options. You can get a newer truck for $3,000 down or a brand new truck for $5,000 down. Now for my numbers I'm going to show you, I decided that I would get the new truck and pay the $5,000 down because I just know from my personal experience that new trucks are more profitable in the long run due to the maintenance that you have to pay on used trucks. So it's with a new truck that I feel like I would have the best chance of success with the program. So after I talked to the recruiter, I just went and did a quick search online to see what information I could find on the program. And I found some negative reviews and even some information that they might be involved in a lawsuit. But despite this bad publicity, here at White Glove Trucking, I strive to have a happy, kind channel. And so I want to do something a little more positive. Instead of just bashing this program, let's figure out how we can make it work. I know that some people must be successful in these programs or they just wouldn't keep existing. So let's figure out how we can be one of the successful ones. All right, let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, guys, let's start by looking at the numbers. Okay, so here you have an overview of what you can expect to make per month in this lease program. Now, this is based on $2 a mile, which is what the recruiter told me the average is when I talked to him. And then also 10,000 miles per month, which is my sort of happy amount of miles that I like to drive. It allows me to stay healthy, keep doing these videos for you guys, and also to make a good amount of money. So I base this on 10,000 miles per month. Okay, so the first thing we see is this $2,800 truck payment monthly. Okay, now I ran this out for the 5 years, and that would be $182,000 after 5 years, plus $5,000 for the down payment equals $187,000. And that's not a bad amount of money to pay for a new truck. And just to put in perspective, my other review I did of a rental program, and their 5-year total for the truck was $199,000, and you didn't end with the truck. So that amount is actually, I feel like it's relatively decent. Next item is your trailer payment. Okay, now I have a theory about why they're able to make that truck payment so low. I think they're trying to maybe keep it like competitive within the market. And then in order to do that, they're raising some of these other payments that people might not be looking at as closely. You know, like everybody's going to look at the truck payment and see how much that is. With this trailer payment though, $1,200 is a lot for a trailer payment for a month. Just to give you some perspective, my trailer payment, well, in comparison, if I had it for 5 years, if I was going to pay it off in 5 years, actually, no, wait, trailer payment of $1,200 is for a 3.5 year time frame, which is what Ego required. They had, I think, 2.5 and 3.5 year time frames for their trailers. So just to put this in perspective, if I had my current trailer for a payoff of 3.5 years, it would be a payment of $952. So that's an increase of 21% over what I would be paying. Now, recognizing this payment was a little high, I actually emailed Ego and asked them if I could use my own trailer. And they said I could. So that's one area where you may be able to save a little bit if you're in this program. Okay, the next thing is the down payment. Now, the down payment was $5,000, but I just wanted to sort of like spread it out over the course of a year, for 12 months, just to see what that monthly rate would be, just for comparison's sake. So just know that if you do get the new truck, it's 5,000 down, but this is how it works out if it's monthly for that first year, $416. Okay, then you've got insurance. You've got a total of two different insurances here for a total of $1,230. Just for comparison's sake, my insurance for my truck and my trailer is $833 a month. So that insurance payment is a $400 difference, and that's an increase of 33% over what I'm paying right now. Okay, Tri-Pack, I believe that's for like the cooling unit. I don't have one of those in my truck, but you got to pay for that. ELD, once again, that seems steep to me, that 150, just because I don't pay anything right now. But that's just something to consider. Then you have some other little fees. All of these, I didn't think they looked reasonable. Like the registration fee looked reasonable. Now this escrow, this is $2,000. And I spaced it once again over the 12 months just to get a monthly amount. So you can have an accurate understanding of what you're going to be looking at that first year, you know? Okay, so what it all tallies up to, at $2 a mile, driving 10,000 miles at 75%, which is what this program is, you get $15,000 for the month. They have fixed cost of $62.32. And then I use my average variable cost that I've gotten over the past year, and that 5,200. Now, this could be a little bit low based on the fact that I drive 54 miles an hour, and that dramatically cuts down on my fuel cost. So if you drive like normal, then most likely that's going to be a little higher. Okay, so what it breaks down to is 35.67 a month that you're bringing home, and that equals weekly, right? So, and that equals this should be weekly. I'm gonna change this. This should be weekly. Weekly profit of $891.81, and that's at 10,000 miles. But not everybody drives 10,000 miles, right? So, in the next screen, I'm going to show you what you can expect to make based on how much you actually drive. All right. Okay, so now on this screen, you guys, you have your miles driven here on the bottom, and you have your rate per mile here. So what this tells you is how much you can expect to make per week based on how much you prefer to drive. Okay, how many miles you drive per month. Actually, this is the monthly amount of miles. Now, I have $2 highlighted here because that is what the recruiter told me is the average they are making right now, or the average rate per mile currently. So at 10,000 miles a month, $2 a mile, I would be bringing home about $892 a week. Okay. And you can just look and see what that would mean for you, at what rate. Now I have the fuel here at 55 cents per mile. Now my fuel, my average that I've averaged this year is actually 41 cents per mile. But I drive 54 miles an hour, so mine is probably most likely a lot lower than most people. So I use 55 cents as the average that would be most people would have. In this section over here with the additional variable cost, so you take that 55 cents a gallon fuel, and for each extra 1,000 miles you drive, over 10,000, you would add this amount to your cost. So it's like if you drive 1,000 miles over 10,000, it's 550, 2,000, 1,100, etc. And I just wanted to put this out here so that I could show you, you know, it's interesting when you drive more, you make more, but it's also like taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back because of that fuel cost. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so I just wanted to show how the additional miles end up affecting the fuel cost and therefore the variable cost as you run harder and longer. Now that we've gone through all the sort of the money stuff, let's go take a look at sort of what people have said about the program, some of their comments, some of their complaints. And from that, we will figure out the 4 tips for you to be successful in this program and get that truck at the end. All right, now that we've taken a look at all that data, let's get beyond the numbers. Your happiness and success in a program isn't going to be all about numbers. Let's see what some people have said about the program, and let's figure out if we can use that information to get a strategy for winning that truck. Okay, so some good comments that I found about the program. People said that it's good for the SAP program. I had to look this up, but it's the substance abuse program, to where maybe if you had some issues in the past with some substance abuse, Ego Holding is commendable and they give you a second chance. Second thing that people like a lot is that $0 down. I do think, I guess in a way it would be nice to not have to be able to have a job and start running with $0 down. But in the long run, that's just not the way you're going to be most successful. And then even though some people mentioned that they had issues with their dispatcher, in general, there were more comments about running too much or running too hard than there were about not getting enough loads to be successful in the program. And then another issue where they seemed pretty good was people had pretty good things to say about the equipment. It seems like their equipment is good. And I guess if you're getting a new truck, then you can kind of be a little more confident that you're going to get a nice truck. And then one final comment that a few people said this, so I want to put it in here, is they said it is best if you have some owner-operator experience before joining this program. Even though you could come right out of being a company driver at $0 down and hop in a truck and a lease purchase plan, you're going to have the best chance of success if you have some owner-operator experience before you join the program. Okay, that really could have been my first tip, but now I'm going to get into the tips on what you need to do to be successful and win that truck. Okay, number 1, you have to have the right mindset. And basically what that means is you have to be ready to have extreme dedication. I like this quote that somebody said online about the program. They said, "But you gotta stay on top of things if you wanna make extra cash. Never had an issue with getting paid. Just keep in mind, if you're only hauling 1 or 2 loads a week, don't expect a paycheck. It might even come up negative. No funny business though, it's just how leasing works. And some drivers gotta realize that. They keep things rolling, so I'm not sitting around waiting forever between loads." So I really like that comment. That guy has the right mindset and kind of understands what it's all about. Another person said a kind of similar thing. He says, "I knew what the company was like from the start, and I prepared for it, especially in the first month or 2. Okay, so what that mindset of dedication means is you have to be ready to run when you start. That means getting all your stuff out of the way. Dental appointments, family responsibilities. You want to do everything you can before you start the program so that when you start, you can hit the ground running and keep running. This is especially crucial in that first 10 months when that escrow is being taken out and you're getting less money." Okay, that's it for tip number 1. Okay, tip number 2, figure out your dispatcher beforehand. People say that dispatchers make all the difference. You need to figure out that dispatcher before you start and make sure you get a good one. People say a lot of whether you have a good or bad experience has to do with whether you got a good or bad dispatcher. So, tip, do not leave your fate up to the luck of getting a good dispatcher. Be proactive, and do your research and lock in that dispatcher before you start. Tip number 3, bring cash. Don't go into the program dead broke. One person commented and said, I brought $3,000 with me just to test how things were going to go in the beginning. Further, he said, and I haven't ended up cashless like some of the rookies end up. So this is why you need a little bit of money going in. I like to have money because I want power. When you go to orientation, if they try to bully you into taking maybe a truck you didn't want to have, then you have a little bit of money and say, you know what, I'm going to wait if I need to until the situation is right. Okay, this is the last tip, and I kind of saved a big whammy for last, so I hope you stayed through the video. Okay, tip number 4, you guys, is save for maintenance in years 4 and 5. You know, guys, I'm sorry to say this, but it is for this reason, and the fact that it is very unlikely for most people to think that far ahead and be saving that type of money they will need to ensure that they get the truck. I think this means that the amount of people that will successfully win that truck is probably kind of rare, but doesn't have to be for you. Be the exception. Here's your maintenance strategy. Let me tell you about my own experience. So I've had one truck prior to this one, and I had that truck in years 4 and 5 because I bought it used. So in year 4, $20,000 in maintenance costs. In year 5, $40,000 in maintenance costs. That's a total of $60,000, okay? Now, if you want to save $60,000 starting from the very beginning of having this truck, let's say you want to save it by the beginning of year 4, because that's when a lot of maintenance is going to start. Then in 3 years, to save $60,000, you're looking at $1,666 a month. And then if you want to have $60,000 by year 5, then you're looking at saving $1,250 a month right from the beginning of the lease program. So here is your maintenance strategy. Save all of the money you make in years 1, 2, and 3 for the maintenance you're going to need to pay in years 4 and 5. Know what you're getting into. You're not really getting into this to make money. This is an investment. You are saving that money, investing that money in that truck, in the future ownership of that truck. So, and the very last thing in this maintenance strategy is, I don't think you really need to try to kill yourself to drive all those miles and make all that money in the beginning. I think it's all going to even out later on with truck maintenance. So, it's like the tortoise and the hare. You're the tortoise. You just want to go slow and steady, persevere, go at a sustainable pace you can maintain for 5 years. And you do that, you can be the exception and come away with that truck at the end of it. All right, guys. On that note, that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you decide to lease, then this helps you be successful. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you on the next one.